Tornado warning for southwestern Fond du Lac County and northeastern Dodge County until 4:30. At 3:59, just a minute ago, a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado was located over Waupun, moving east at 45 miles per hour. This warning, by the way, is not issued by an eyewitness account. This is radar-indicated rotation, which you see right there on Viper. You see where it's rotating. But as I've been saying, and again, this is Viper's future projection, Sheboygan County, this is why I think you're probably going to be next with a tornado warning. So there you are at about 4:33. It's coming into western Sheboygan County. Sheboygan, city proper, right at 5 p.m. So between now and about 5 p.m., those of you in Fond du Lac and Sheboygan County, I think you will continue to be under the gun. And a new tornado warning, too, just north of there, just popping in there for, that looks like western portions of Manitowoc County, southwestern Manitowoc County, southeastern Calumet County. And again, this is for tornado. This is radar indicated rotation. It's likely where you see that little spinning cylinder there.
And as we've been sitting here, as Brad has been talking, we've been talking, messaging back and forth with some officers here, telling widespread around the area, stay off the roads if you can. Heavy rain, as you can see there right now from the Fox Valley. Our crews out there, you can see that heavy rain just coming down really across all of the area right now.
And in fact, we just, I think on our Facebook, there was a talk of what a parking lot on Mason Street with water up to the windows.
Water up to the windows there.
Green Bay, Brown County, Ashwaubenon, everybody telling people to stay off the roads if you can. Our Chris Roth, sports director, was over at Lambeau Field for a press conference this afternoon. That's the view from the tunnel. Looking out the players' tunnel there at Lambeau Field, looking onto the field. I believe Ashwaubenon, if I remember hearing Brad right, and this was about a half hour ago, Ashwaubenon had close to 2 inches of rain.
And you can see it's just difficult visibility out there right now as that rain comes down so hard ahead of those tornadoes.
Yeah, and not coming at a great time, as of course the commute home is about to begin, or has begun for some, and will begin for others of us here in the next hour or two. You might want to really think twice about heading out until these storms pass.
Flooding also reported at NWTC in Green Bay. Our crews on scene found this flooding on the campus's parking lot. NWTC is reporting water leakage throughout the campus due to the heavy rains in our area. Facility crews are addressing the issues. And this image was also posted on Twitter showing an Appleton resident trying to dig out of a storm drain to help clear all the water that's been happening in that part of the world.
That is a tough job this afternoon. As we mentioned earlier in the newscast, several agencies asking the public just to stay off the roads. We're tracking those conditions live for you. Our Jason Zimmerman is in Green Lake County with a look at conditions right now. Jason.
Kemi, we just pulled into Green Lake just a few minutes ago. We're right outside of the downtown district right now. You can see some light rain coming down. Now, it has been on and off raining here. At some points, it was extremely heavy, but it is light at the moment. Now, I'm just going to pan over here to my right. As we've driven through town, we've seen some debris on the road, a few limbs down. And right over here, this is a tree that's down in an area, it looks like a park, so you can see some branches that have fallen. We haven't seen too much damage, but again, we just got into town a few minutes ago. Lots of leaves and debris on the roadway, but nothing too serious at this point other than this tree that you're looking at right now. Earlier today, we drove through Oshkosh, we drove through Ripon. Much heavier rain coming down at that time. We saw a number of cars that were just pulled over alongside I-41 and Highway 45 as we were driving into Oshkosh. But it has cleared up quite a bit, at least in Green Lake. We'll continue to look around the area and see if we can find any additional damage and do a further assessment and continue to bring you updates. Reporting live in Green Lake, Jason Zimmerman, Action 2 News. Bill, still raining here in Green Lake. Slight rain coming down, not the torrential downpour that we saw a couple of hours ago. We've been in town now for a short time, but we did do a slight assessment of the area. A couple trees that we saw that were struck by lightning. This is one of those trees right behind me, a giant tree actually that was struck, completely severed in half. As you see, the top half of this tree fell into the driveway next to this house. I spoke to the resident who lives here. He tells me that lightning strike was so strong that it actually gave some underground phone lines a shock. And this box that you see over here behind me that's closer to the road actually was smoking, and that's why the fire department had to come out here and respond to that. The person in the house also told me, he didn't want to go on camera, but he told me that the landline phone that he has, the cords that go from that phone to the wall also were smoking. He actually got out his fire extinguisher just as a precaution, and he sprayed that down. I can also tell you across town you'll see lots of standing water here in this driveway, lots of debris all over town, and leaves and so forth that have been blown about, but no real structural damage that we've seen so far out here today. Reporting live in Green Lake, Jason Zimmerman, Action 2 News.
Thank you, Jason. The power of nature. In the Green Bay area, police are telling people to still stay off the roads at this point because there is still standing high water. Sierra Gillespie live on the east side of Green Bay with how the roads are looking at one particular intersection. Sierra.
Cammie, believe it or not, the rain has actually lessened in the past hour, but behind me is proof that it was steadily pouring down. As you can see, there are 2 vehicles stuck in standing water on Main Street near Limekiln. If you take a look at the lawn right here, this is how far up the water actually came from the road, halfway up the North Shore Bank lawn right here. Now, police have closed off the road here on Main and Limekiln because, as I said before, this standing water is not safe for anyone. We saw another vehicle that was towed off a couple of minutes before our live shot here, so at least 3 vehicles have been stranded in this. If you are out and about at all today, make sure to avoid standing water. Make sure to drive with your lights on and stay safe out there. Reporting live in Green Bay, Sierra Gillespie, Action 2 News.
Action 2 News has been following severe storms all day, and tonight we are recapping seems to be one of the most damaging storm systems of the summer here in northeast Wisconsin.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us tonight. Governor Scott Walker declared a state of emergency for several counties across the state today.
One of those counties right here in our area, Fond du Lac County. Nolan Blair leads off our severe weather coverage tonight after finding what authorities call tornado damage in the Fond du Lac County community in the town of Waupun.
I heard the roar.
The owner of Pebble Knolls Dairy believes that roar was a tornado. He says the damage to his dairy farm that holds more than 600 cows shows the evidence.
Got here and I can't believe what I saw. It is pretty much wiped out.
We have neighbors, farmers, and friends all helping out right now to get these cows onto these trucks where they're being shipped to other farms. Nobody was hurt by the storm on the farm, but the condition of all the cows is not certain.
Some are, it's hard to say at this time. Some of them are buried under the rubble yet. We can't get to them. We're working on it.
And while that work was taking place, friends were making sandwiches so hungry stomachs wouldn't impact the long cleanup ahead.
Just do this. It's in your heart.
They all do that here.
Yep, that's the way we do. This is community.
A community supporting a farmer facing a tough reality.
We're not going to be up here for a long time.
In the town of Waupun, Nolan Blair, Action 2 News.
Now to New Holstein, where severe storms caused significant damage there as well, and that's where we find Jason Zimmerman live with more on that. Jason.
Bill, people I spoke to tonight are just in shock over the amount of damage caused by this storm. This is City Hall right behind me, surrounded by fallen trees, and it is no different at the elementary school across the street or down the block in either direction. Just after the heavy rain let up, Nikki Purnell was among the many cleaning up. At her house on Wisconsin Avenue, a huge tree partially collapsed, and some big branches are still dangling above her sidewalk.
My son, I got out here and he goes, Mom, and he goes, we had to call a bunch of people because that tree right there broke into many places. We even have bunches of branches that look like they could even fall down yet. So if we have another big gust of wind, they possibly could fall down in the road yet.
The New Holstein Police Department says the damage covers about a 4-block wide radius, stretching from the city's far west side to the east end. Almost nothing in the path of this storm was spared.
Tornado sirens did go off, and once the wind stopped, we had probably 24 power lines down. We had several trees fall on cars. Some were occupied. No injuries.
While the storm came on quick, many felt there was adequate warning.
We were listening to Channel 2 weather, actually, and watching the storm. Yeah. And I said to my husband, I'm going to quick go out and get the plants off the front porch because I think it's going to be bad. And with that, the sky was just black, and the wind came and the sirens went off, and we went to the basement.
The city's hoping to get a better assessment of the storm damage tomorrow morning. I'm told cleanup is expected to take days, if not weeks. Reporting live in New Holstein, Jason Zimmerman, Action 2 News.
Thanks so much, Jason. While the bulk of the damage affected the southern part of our viewing area, the Green Bay area still saw a significant amount of rain and standing water because of it. Sierra Gillespie continues our severe weather coverage live in the newsroom after heading out into one of the worst days of flash flooding earlier today. Sierra.
Well, it still feels like I'm drying off after traveling across the Green Bay area during the worst of the storm. I saw lots of rain, standing water, and stranded vehicles. We first got reports of standing water at Lambeau Field. When I arrived, there was some water in the parking lot, but no vehicles were stranded. Where I did find standing water in the parking lot, the campus of NWTC. One of its parking lots had almost a dozen cars stuck, in some places water coming up to the top of the wheels. Some people had to work to push their cars out of that water. But that wasn't the only bit of standing water we found. Across all of Green Bay, we got reports of stranded vehicles like these ones here on Main Street near Limekiln Road. At one point, we saw 3 cars stuck in the water here and watched tow trucks work to pull them out. In that same location, a car was nearly submerged under standing water. A viewer sent us this photo, and as you can see, the car is almost completely covered by rainwater.
Green Lake County is recovering after a confirmed tornado swept through that area this afternoon. It happened just 4 miles northeast of Marquette on Highway D. A few minutes earlier, a funnel cloud was confirmed 3 miles south of Princeton. Meanwhile, in Marquette County, a strong storm, possible tornado, moved through the Oxford area, causing some heavy damage. There were power lines down and trees across roads. Residents in Endeavor say winds howled for over half an hour and left a line of damage, as you can see right there. Report of a camper flying through the air has also been reported. Some even say the storm brought back memories of a tornado that came through back in 2013. The National Weather Service will be sending a team to confirm if indeed the damage caused there was by a tornado.
Well, we really appreciate you, our viewers, sharing what you saw as those storms came through. This photo, Olaf Krawinkel, he found these offices on Willard Drive in Ashwaubenon flooded. He says 4 to 6 inches of water affected several businesses there. This picture from Mike Rufio shows that flooding has happened at this Appleton intersection before. That underpass at 4th and Mason has a flood gauge. It was measuring more than 4 feet during the storms today, but as you can see, one vehicle was stuck there anyway. Well, we all know we have great neighbors here in Wisconsin. Alicia Keel says her neighbor is a good Samaritan right there. I took a picture of him, went out in the rain to clear the only street sewer on her street. And after the worst of the storm subsided, life goes on. People and their pets had to resume normal life. Although Judy Hoffman says Kuma the dog wasn't quite certain what happened to one of his favorite spots. Finally, when rain gives you street flooding, what else are you to do? Well, these guys made the best of it, right? You get out the kayak. Dean Johnson tagged us with this video on Twitter. A little urban kayaking that was on Locust Street in Appleton. Bill?
Nolan Blair joins us live back at Pebble Nose Dairy Farm. We're spending time today with the farm's owner and the National Weather Service. Nolan.
Debris is still being picked up at this farm, and it will be for the foreseeable future. The owner told me they're going to have to start over because right now it's a dairy farm that has very few cattle. The owner says among the 600 plus animals, 5 were killed and 20 were injured. The rest are now at other farms. The National Weather Service is busy surveying a wide area for tornado touchdowns. It says this powerful storm left damage from Juneau County all the way to Sheboygan.
Within that, there may be some embedded tornado circulations within that larger swath of straight line winds, but really a tremendous amount of damage across this area.
And this afternoon, roads have been blocked off that lead to the town of Alto. State Patrol says trees and power lines are still down. Reporting live in the town of Waupun, Nolan Blair, Action 2 News.